for this challenge, we're putting together all the skills that we've learned so far in this beginners series, and we're also introducing the concept of joins. So let's use our skills that we learned from last week to bring in all the data about our stores. So we can pick up any of our store names from the left-hand side here and bring it into the canvas as an input step. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit on the step to make it nice and big for you. Notice how we've got, just one table. This is just the Birmingham table. It's a single table, but we're going to use our wildcard union. And this time we want to exclude the targets from our selection here. So how do we do that? Well, before we left it blank so that we included all of our stores, but if we did that this time, we would also pick up the target sheet, which we don't want to do. So we're going to go to sheets and we're going to change this to exclude, and then we're just going to type in targets. And then we want to hit apply, and you see that we no longer have targets in our list of sheets here. And then the trick here is now to hit apply again so that it goes grayed out, and you can see that we get a couple of extra fields now. So we've got our table names, which we're going to rename to be store. And then we've got this file paths, which we don't really need. We can get rid of that, so we can untick our file paths. Now our next step is to do a pivot, just like last week, where we are pivoting all of our products and customer names down. So we're leaving it as columns to rows, and we're using a wildcard search on the dash to apply that pivot. Lovely. Now we're going to just do a little bit of renaming. So this is our product sold. And what we want to do is split up this field into customer type and product. So we use the recommendation here to apply that, and to get that to work, we remove the dash and we remove the original column. And then we just rename these as customer type and as product. Next, we're wanting to change our date to be quarter, and the way that we do that is we go to the drop down of convert dates and we select quarter number there. All nice and simple. And finally, before our final step we want to take before we join on our targets data is we want to aggregate this data set up. So we want to aggregate it so that it is at the store level, and we want it to be at the quarter level as well. So I'm just going to group by that date, and then I want to sum up my products sold. So we have 3 fields coming through at this stage. And now it's time to bring in that targets data set. And I believe in the requirements for this challenge, it just says something like join on the targets data. How do we do that? Okay, so we just pick up our targets table from the left-hand side and we drag it onto the canvas. And we can see that it's popped up down here. And now how do we go about joining that to our aggregated data set here? Well, we want to pick up that table, that targets table, and drag it over to our aggregate step. And you can see we've got these 2 options pop up, this join or this union. And what we want to do in this case is we want to join it, because we want to bring in some extra information, some additional fields, rather than just stacking it on top of each other like a union does. So the automatic join that gets applied by Tableau Prep is that it will join on the store name, which is good. That's something we want it to do. But you'll see down here that we've got 20 rows coming from our aggregate step and 20 rows coming from our target step. And our join result has 80 rows, which if we look at our requirements for this challenge, we actually only want there to be 20 rows now. So the way that we change this, the way that we make sure that it's not getting those additional rows, not duplicating data, is by adding in an additional join clause. And the way that we do that is through joining our date to our quarter, because these are both our quarter numbers. And now you can see that that has adjusted itself, and we have now 20 rows in our join result. We can get rid of the unnecessary fields such as date and this duplication of the store name, so we can remove those. And then we have simply our store, our quarter, the product sold, and the target. This is enough now to create a variance to target field. So let's just call it our variance to target. And this will be our product sold minus our target. And if I click save on that, then you'll see it pop up there. All that's left to do there is to rearrange these a little bit. So we'll have our quarter there, our store there, and maybe our variance target can go there instead. And we've got one final step to go through now, which is a ranking. So I'm going to do that in another clean step. So on this variance target field, I'm going to go to the three dots menu again, and I'm going to go to create a calculated field. And rather than it being a custom calculation, which would be an ordinary calculated field, I'm going to create a rank. So if I click on that, then you can see that a numbering system has started here. So it is sorting our variance to target field in descending order, which is good. That's what we want it to be, because the greater the variance, the better the rank. So that's doing what we wanted to do. I could just click on it to reverse the direction there. But we want this to be happening per quarter. We want it to be ranking our stores per quarter. So we go and say group by our quarter, and then you can see the numbers 1 to 5 pop up there. And that's good because it means for each of our quarters it's ranking our 5 stores in order of their performance. So we can just rename this to just be rank, and we can hit our done, and that collapses that pop-up, and we have our output data set exactly as we want it to be. So hopefully that was nice and clear, and hopefully you picked up some new skills as part of this challenge. So thanks very much for watching.